We're sorry, the number you have dialed is not in service at this time.
What's up, mates? How's it going today? Blake here, and I have a new video for you, and I am so excited because, I just recorded this just to, do this commentary with my life story of I had to sleep outside, the day I had to sleep outside, and it is I don't know, it might be different than you expect. It's not like I chose to or something, I don't know. So, it all started, I was in this play, so I was a background, not really that big. It was, what was the play? Beauty and the Beast. I was in, nothing. I was like a fork or something. And so after the play, there was a Denny's afterwards with the whole cast. And so, I was having a good time, hanging out, talking to people. And, it got to the point where I was talking to some people until like 12, I think. And so it was just me and like 3 other people, and we're talking. Everybody else had already left. And so the Denny's was kind of empty-ish. I mean, there were some other people, but yeah, me and these 3 other people were just like, talking it up, having fun. And then all of a sudden, one of the people said, like, hey, it's getting really late. I think we should head home, which is my pal Christian. Now, he was my ride home, so I was like, okay, I guess I have to agree with you. So I was like, yeah, okay, yeah, let's go. So we said goodbye to everybody. We talked to the director of the play, and we started having a conversation, and then we left. So we got in the car, and by the time we got in the car, it was like maybe 12:30, maybe 12:40. Yeah. So then we were going home, and the first to be dropped off, which was weird, was my friend Christian, because his mom was taking us. She dropped him off first, then dropped my friend Corey off. Get Humanized. You should check him out. And then his girlfriend it was just me and Christian's girlfriend in the car, and she was like passing out, going to sleep, so I was like laughing at her, making fun of her, nicely though, not like, look at you. But yeah, so my friend's mom drops us off in front of my house, and so she was really tired. Christian's girlfriend in the back seat was really tired, and so she's like, okay, I gotta get her home before she passes out in my car. So she drives off, and so then at this point I was like, okay, I had a good time today. So I walked to the front door. I started knocking. Nothing. Huh. I knocked again. Just like hard, a little bit harder. Nothing. This time I took my fist and I was just dun 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 dun, and I was like, okay, come on, who's gonna answer the door? And so then I did that for maybe about 20 minutes. So at this point it was like 1, and so I was like, okay, I'll make some phone calls. I called my mom. I didn't hear anything from the inside of the house, and no answer. I called her maybe 3 times. Nothing. I called my dad. Nothing. Maybe 4 times with him. Nothing. So then I walk up to their window where they're sleeping, and their TV is blasting loud at 1 in the morning, and I could hear it through the window, but I'm pretty sure they can't hear any phone calls or can't hear the door. So I'm like, oh my gosh. So I was like, no, I called his phone. I called my dad's phone. I started banging on the window. Nothing. I heard his phone. And I was like, no, wake up. Come on, wake up. Come get the door. But then nothing. So I knocked on the door, and so my phone was dying. And so I was like, okay, one last chance. So I called my house phone. I heard it ring. It was pretty loud. It was like, and the whole entire house was ringing. Knocked on the door, banged on it, like as hard as I could. Nothing. And at this point, I didn't want to knock anymore, because then I looked at the neighbors and they turned their lights on. They were looking outside. Like I was breaking into their house. I was walking up to the windows and trying to break the windows, it looked like. And now they were like, I was scared they're going to call the cops. I didn't want to knock on the door anymore. So I was like, okay, I can't get inside. I don't have my key. My phone is literally about to die. And I looked down. My phone is literally, and it's dead. It made like a zzz, zzz, and then the little circle for Samsung, because I have a Galaxy S3. And so it made a little circle around Samsung. Boop, went off. And that was the end of my phone. And so I had to go into my backyard. So I was sitting there, and I was like, okay, it's almost 2 in the morning, and I am freezing. So I saw some candles and a lighter, like one of those long lighters, though, from 4th of July. This is a little while back, so it was like, a week after 4th of July. And so I was like, gotta do what I gotta do. I was thinking about lighting a fire, but I was like, no, that'd be really weird. If anybody woke up, they'd think of fire and they'd call the cops. So I was like, okay, I'll light these candles. So I lit the candles and I sat by it like it was a fire, putting my hands over it, like like, ooh, this is so nice and cozy. And so after maybe 30 minutes of just sitting there, putting my hands over candles, I was like, this sucks. This is horrible. And so I got a stick, and I was like, okay, maybe I can make myself a torch. It was pitch black. And so I was sitting there on the chair, and I was lighting these sticks. And all of a sudden from my backyard, I hear like footsteps, and I'm freaking out. I'm like, oh my gosh. I literally took the stick, I literally walked over there, and I was like, I couldn't see anything. It was like the worst scary movie ever, because I didn't know if, like, across the way, it was like my back of my yard, there's the neighbors, and they're kind of weird. They've never talked to us. And I was like, are they breaking into my house, or breaking into my backyard by going through, like, the fence? Because my fence was like a wooden fence with vines all over it, so I didn't know if there was a crack in the fence that they were just sneaking through. So at this one, I was like, oh, okay. I got really scared. I was looking at the candles. It was too cold. So I was like, okay. I blew them all out. And so then I got into my trampoline, which was like almost broken, and I started laying there. I put my hands on my shirt, and I was like, okay, here I go to sleep. And so then I woke up. I don't know, it felt like an hour later, and I was like, okay, I can't do this. It's too cold. And I was thinking, if I had a car, I'd sleep in that car. And then another thing hit me. I was like, my garage is open. It's like you lift it up yourself. It's not one of those things where you press a button and it opens the garage. I was like, I can go open my garage. And I took the seat out of the back of the truck. So there's a seat in the garage. And I was like, okay, that's a good plan. So I put the lighter that I had next to me in the trampoline. I threw that on the table in the backyard. And I walked into the front, opened the garage, and it was like heaven. It was like so nice and warm. I laid down on this of the back seat. So I laid on that, like, chair thing that was removable and slept. I was woken up to the garage opening again, and my dad going, whoop, there he is. And so then my mom comes running, where were you? We were calling. I was like, my phone's dead. What? You better apologize. And I was like, really? I had to sleep outside because you guys didn't open the door, and you're trying to make me apologize. And she's like, yes. Oh, you're on restriction. And I was like, really? I had to sleep outside, and I'm in trouble. Wow. Really? So yeah, I think she calmed down after that point and wasn't really angry at me. But it was a really weird experience, and I hope you guys enjoyed the story. Thank you guys for watching. Subscribe if you're new, and thank you for everything and all the support. So peace out, my dudes.
Dakblake, 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 dakblake.